If you're interested in learning more about HFX options and joining the All for Profit team, check out the link in the description. Make sure to like the video and subscribe for more. So I start out with the day chart here, just like Devon does. I have the same ones favorited. I also have the 3-minute favorited. So I always start. I come all the way out and see where the market's going. And as of right now, it doesn't really have a trend upwards or downwards. You can see a slight downtrend here. I'll probably put that in just because. So we'll do something like that. And can't really do a bottom side to that, so I'll just leave this about like there. And then I come in and I start with my major supports and resistances. So this would be a major support slash resistance right in here. I'll put that to a thick line, and then I'll do the same thing on the bottom here. This would be my major, and then I would also put a major right about there. And I think those are most of the majors I see. I might do one like right in here somewhere. This is more of a zone, so I don't know if I'll mark that up on the day charts, but then we'll come down to the 4-hour charts and we do the same thing. We start with a major support line, and then you bring it a little bit down from that thickness. And you can see that it's still just consolidating between these two lines on the major level. So then that's about the only major support that I see on that one. And then I'd come down into the hour, and you can see a trend start to form short term. So like right here, you could see a possible uptrend, or you could see the major downtrend here. Just whatever you decide to look at. I see kind of a channel going. Not 100% on that, so I'll leave it off. And then we'll look for some more major supports on the hour time frames. So I'd come in here, and this would be, to me, a major support, but I am going to make it one smaller because we're on the hour time frames. And I'd look down right about here for another support. We see it here, 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 and here. And then a little bit in here. It did break and retest on it a couple times there. So now we're looking in this area here. If I come down to the 30-minute chart here, we have the break and retest down here on this trend line. And then we have more of a open trend here. So we could see this break this upwards trend and continue with its downtrend in the long term. I see a little bit of resistance and support right in there, but it's much smaller. So we're going to do the smallest line possible on that. And then a little bit more right about there. If you look back further, I actually am going to move that up just a little bit. So now we have about 3 zones that we are looking to trade in and see consolidation back and forth. And currently it's in this middle zone. And as we go down to smaller time frames, we will be able to see where the minor support and resistances are. So I would personally put a minor resistance and support right here and right here. And then as you go through, you can label these with text boxes. So this could be your 15-minute support. And then these would be your 15, this would be your 15-minute support. And then you could also label these two as 30 minutes supports. This part is totally optional. It's just easier to identify what which of your smallest lines is. So now if I scroll it out here, if I'm looking to see which line is which, I can see that each of my lines has a minute support on it. And then I can come in here and identify more of a trend. You can kind of see a downtrend starting to form here. We could see this break it at any point. We could also see this come down and recontest this line by the end of the night. But what we're trading on is smaller time frames here. So we're looking at some pretty good consolidation between these 2 points. And then we'll come in and do some more minimal supports and resistances. So I see a good support / resistance right here. I see another one right in here. You could probably put a little bit of a trend line in this, but it wouldn't be very trustworthy. I did forget to make this trend a little bit bigger. Actually, this one has to be smaller. That's my fault. There we go. So now if you zoom in, you can see that it's still going between these next 2 zones. So these were our major zones. And then we have a minor zone in the middle here. And you can trade off of these. So like right in here, I see a pretty decent level of resistance that it broke down and it was wicking up and rejecting off of right there. You can see here it broke it and then continued upwards. And then here it broke down and never came back above it. So now we see this dropping and our moving average will slowly come to a twist just like it did here. Currently, this is calling for buys and we could see this flip and start calling for sells on this pair. Moving average works much better on the higher time frames, but it does work well on the small time frames. The other thing you can look at here is the RSI. I got to that by double clicking. So the way that you get the RSI to look like that, you come in here and you type in RSI, and you get a relative strength index, get something that looks like this. And then I personally use Bollinger Bands on top of those. So we're going to go to these 3 dotted lines right here and click Add Indicator on top, and you type in BB, and you get Bollinger Bands. Then you can edit the settings on the Bollinger Bands to whatever you'd like. All you need to know for sure is that your Bollinger Bands should be set to 34. And then your RSI should be set to 14. And then as you can see, they look almost identical. And then you use whatever colors and settings you prefer. Your RSI should have settings of 75 and 25 with a 14 length. So if I come in here and go to my settings on RSI, come in and type in 75 and 25. So now you can see that both of these are identical. The way that I look at RSI is that currently I'm on the 5-minute charts, and this push down outside of this Bollinger Band. So at the bottom of that wick, that's calling for a good buy position on that particular pair. We see that it came down, it wicked all the way down to the moving average. Now it's slowly working back up. On our preferred time frames, we would be currently about 2 pips in profit as this slowly works its way back up into the Bollinger Bands. If you made it to the end of the video and you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps out the channel a lot and it would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to join the team, there will be a link down in the description below.